Okay, we will start again. Mindfulness contemplations of the body. Quick recap, there are 6 meditations where awareness of the body and its physical phenomena or physical activities. We observe and become aware as and when they occur and as they are at the present moment. That's what we are going to do. Become aware of the body and its physical phenomena as they occur and as they are at the present moment. Remember the conditions. Capture the present moment, physical activity only, nothing about the past or future, and be neutral and unbiased about the body and the physical activity, neither liking it or disliking it. First, your body, and then bodies of other living beings, and then your body and other living beings' bodies, put them all together. They are just bodies, physical bodies. That's the third step. Then observe that physical activity arising and passing away. Okay. So remember those factors when we do the meditations, those conditions. Then the contemplation we are mixing is that we are going to closely examine the rising and passing away of the chosen phenomena of the body with full knowledge of its causes. Well, the full knowledge of the causes may not be immediately possible. That we will do later with the discussion. But today we will try to closely examine only. Arising and passing away we examine. We may not be fully aware of the causes for today. Okay, out of the 6 contemplations, we have already done the second one, the posture, sitting posture we did earlier. Breathing, we will discuss now. Breathing meditation is a popular meditation again. And I'm sure some of you might have already done it and practiced. Some may be new. For breathing meditation, your posture is actually important. Look at the postures here. The first one is known as the lotus, which is a little difficult to practice, but with practice, that is the best or the most convenient posture for long duration meditations. Half lotus is easier, little easier than that. In the full lotus, the 2 legs have crossed each other like this, so that the bottom of the foot is visible on both feet. But here, it is visible only in one foot. Then the Burmese method, it is even little more easier because the legs are not on top of each other, little bit to the front. Then with a pillow, the safu, you use a pillow and put the legs like this. Then sesa posture and even the chair is okay. So right now you may be in a chair, you may be in this posture, but what's important is that the upper half of the body should be straight. Upper half of the body should be straight to facilitate the breathing. Not only to facilitate the breathing, it is also to facilitate your weight being properly transferred through the spinal cord to the ground or to the chair. Otherwise, when you sit in a wrong or non-straight posture, after some time, certain muscles certain muscles on the two sides of the body may start aching. Therefore, this proper weight transfer downwards is very important. That's the other reason why the upper half of the body should be straight. Okay, then your attention or the awareness should be gradually taken to an area close to nostrils or the lips, this kind of an area. Okay, that is the first step. This area where you get a sensation of the breath is known as the area of mindfulness. In Sinhala, we call it Upanibandhana Nimitta or Sati Nimitta. But in English, we use the word area of mindfulness. So we need to keep our attention there. And when the attention comes there, you will feel that area more strongly and you will feel less about the rest of the body. So your awareness about the other parts of the body will slowly reduce, while awareness of the area of mindfulness gradually increase and become strong. And once the attention or the awareness remain there, your mind is creating a mental image representing this area. That is the mental image we call the mental formation known as nimitta for the mindfulness meditation. Remember, the mind will be creating a mental image representing this area. And then you focus on the breathing. And this is an analogy where when you cut a portion of a tree or trunk of a tree using a saw, your eyes will be usually focused in this area where the cutting is happening. That is the area of mindfulness. And you can see the teeth of the saw coming in contact with this area, but you will not be focusing on this teeth which has already passed. Suppose you are pushing the saw forward. You don't focus on the teeth that has passed the area of mindfulness, or you don't focus the attention to the teeth that are yet to arrive in the area of mindfulness. The teeth which are directly touching the area of mindfulness will be your focus. This is similar. When the awareness is on that area of mindfulness in the nostrils or the lips, the air which is passing that area, that sensation, you will observe, but you will not try to focus the attention of the air which has already passed that, or the air yet to arrive. We don't try to focus to our attention. Another analogy is, suppose you are observing the tide at the beach. Assume that you select an area like this, and you can observe that area, what's happening in that area only. So you can see the tide coming in through that area, and then tide going back through that area. But you will not be watching these parts of the tide here or the water there. Your attention will be remaining only in this area. And it is not you who bring in the tide or take the water back to the sea. It's a natural phenomena. Similar to that, it is not you bringing the air into the lungs or breathing out. It's a natural thing happening all the time. Even while you are asleep, it's happening. So a neutral observation of what is naturally happening is what we are going to do in this meditation. Okay, then let us quickly discuss what are the steps we are going to pass in this meditation. After that, we will do it to get experience, little bit of experience. So breathing in, breathing out is what we will try to focus our attention to in these steps. Initially, before the breath, before you focus the attention to the breath, your attention should be to the area of mindfulness, which I highlighted earlier. So awareness of that sensing region of the breath, known as the area of mindfulness, should be achieved first before you put your attention to breathing in, breathing out. A common mistake done is that you directly start focusing in the air, breathing in, breathing out, without having enough attention, without reaching sufficient level of attention to the area of mindfulness. Then you will find in between breathing in and breathing out, the mind will wander to other thoughts and the meditation will become unsuccessful. Because you can notice that when the air, when you breathe in, it starts, then it continues, then breathing in will end. After a little time, breathing out will start. So in between the end of inward breath and the start of the outward breath, there is a very small, tiny time gap. And that time gap is enough for your mind to think of 1,000 things and come back. Therefore, the concentration will not be proper. So this order is very important. First, the awareness, good awareness on that area of mindfulness. And as a second step, you become aware of the breath going in and coming out. This is the second step. Please remember, don't interchange these two. Then third step, we become aware of the nature of the breath, identifying whether it is a long breath that you perceive or is it a short breath that you perceive. It is again neutral observation. You don't intervene to control the breath to make it longer or to make it short. We don't intervene. Let it happen naturally. It is just observation only that we do. Then next step is you move into experiencing wholesome breathing, which I'll explain in the next slide. Wholesome breathing means that you become aware that each breath has a physical part and non-tangible or mental part. Both parts you become aware. Then you say you are aware of the whole breath. Before that, in this step, when you classify the breath as long or short, by that time, your mind should be able to identify the start of the breath and the middle of the breath and the end of the breath. Once you are properly able to identify start and the middle and the end, then only your mind will be able to classify it as either long or short. And the wholesome breathing is identifying wholesome breathing means for each breath, knowing very well that there is physical activity happening and there is a mental activity happening in every breath. So being aware that there are two parts combining here to complete the task, the physical part and non-physical part, is this understanding of wholesome nature of the breath. Then the last step is allowing the mental volitions regarding breathing to calm down, and as a result, the physical breathing activity or bodily function will also calm down. So these are the steps. Of course, this is a meditation where you have 16 steps. Here I am giving only this 4. This one is not a step actually, it is prerequisite. These 4 are the main steps. And 12 more steps are there in this meditation. However, in our course, because it's kind of beginner's course, we will be doing this meditation only for the awareness of that bodily activity part. Therefore, the first 4 steps will be done as shown here. An analogy about this long breath and a short breath is like, it's like a carpenter using a saw, in order to, and you have seen, I'm sure, the carpenters working like this, and sometimes they draw it long, sometimes they draw or push short. And the carpenter is fully aware whether it's a long one or a short one that you push. So that you can compare yourself to a carpenter doing this action. It's an analogy you can remember to get to remember this theory. Then you can notice this contemplation proceed from long and comparatively gross breaths to shorter and subtle breaths. At the start, you will find that your breaths are maybe long and gross, but towards the end, you will find the breath becoming calm, subtle, and even short. Short because you may not need as much oxygen when things calm down. This progressive refinement of mindfulness from rough to subtle can be compared to an analogy where a progressively fainter sound of a gong after it has been struck. I'm sure you have struck gongs in your sacred places. And initially you notice that when you strike it once, the sound is very, very rough, gross, loud. But with time, you can notice it progressively refine and progressively become fainter and becomes a very faint sound with time. That is the analogy to the breath while going through this meditation. Okay, and the wholesome breath awareness means that the elements which are touching is the nostrils and the air. They are physical elements. The physical part is the nostril part of the body or the lips and also the air. They are physical. But when they touch, non-physical things evolve. At that point, they are called mental elements, like sensations, like your judgments of long and short. They are non-physical. They are happening within the mind. In fact, to draw the breath in or out, a mental volition is driving that physical activity. So those mental volitions and your judgments and your sensations, everything is coming here. They are called mental elements. So awareness of the wholesome breath, which is our one of our steps, is that you become aware not only the physical activity happening, but also the mental activity happening during that time. Then only you are You are aware about the breathing in a wholesome manner. Okay, so that's all about the breathing. If I mention one thing more is that uh, in some of us, when we try to do this meditation, we have certain tendencies. One such thing is that some of you want to subconsciously look at this area by the eyes. So although the eyes are closed, because of your intention to look at, the eyes may be internally turned down towards this area. We should not allow that to happen. Eyes must be straight to the front, aligned but closed. Why the other thing should be avoided is because if the eyes are internally turning down to see this area, after a little time you will notice there is little irritation or aching happening in the forehead, in that part, because of this muscle, the muscle on top of the eye being stressed. So that you have to become careful. A second mistake is not focusing on the area of mindfulness first before focusing on the breathing. A third mistake that can happen is that you might try to forcefully make the breath long or short. That should not be done. It should be allowed to happen naturally. So if you try to avoid those pitfalls, the meditation will happen properly. Okay, it's time for us to engage in that meditation for a short time. Hope you are ready. Let's do it for about 5 to 10 minutes to get initial experience. Okay. Sit comfortably, but the upper half of the body straight. You may sit on the chair if you like. Upper half of the body very straight up. Head very straight up. And become aware that you are sitting. Your body is in the sitting posture right now, right here. Okay, now slowly bring your attention to that area of mindfulness I mentioned, which is either the nostril area or the upper lip area. Don't think of the breathing yet. Do you feel that there is more strong sensation from that area and the rest of the body slowly fading away from your attention? You will feel more attention, more awareness dawning or happening about that area of mindfulness. Try to maintain that for a short time from now on without thinking of the breathing, without allowing the mind to wander out from this region. Any mind wandering, allow it to reduce. And heighten the awareness of the area of mindfulness. Okay, now if the mind is not dwelling in the past or future, it's right now, present moment, awareness about this area of mindfulness. You can notice the sensitivity or sensation from that area is very strong now. Okay, then it is time for us to start contemplating on the breath. Now, become aware of the breathing in and become aware of breathing out. The sequence should be breathing in. When breathing in finishes, again focus on the area of mindfulness until breathing out starts. When breathing out starts, only breathing out will be your awareness. And at the end of the breathing out, again focus on the area of mindfulness. So 3 things, only one at a time. One at a time. Breathing in, then area of mindfulness, then breathing out, again area of mindfulness, again breathing in, again area of mindfulness. Let that sequence continue. So one at a time. You become aware of these 3 things and nothing else. Only these 3 things, nothing else. Slowly you will notice you are becoming able to identify the start of a breath, the middle, and the end, while keeping the attention in that area of mindfulness. Start could be identified there, middle can be identified there, end can be identified there. For both upward breath and outward breath. Okay, with that experience now, you can even become aware whether the breath is a long one or a short one. That awareness also you can add to the previous awareness. For the inward breath, you can now classify, is it a long one or a short one? Outward breath also, is it a long one or a short one happening right now? Still only those three things, one at a time. Inward breath, area of mindfulness, and outward breath. Only these three, one at a time. In addition, whether the breath is long or short, you can judge. No forceful breathing. It's happening naturally. Okay, now it may be time to move to the next step, where each breath you become aware in a wholesome manner. During your inward breath, slowly become aware what are the physical elements touching and what are the mental elements, like how you feel, how you perceive it, and how you classify it as long or short, and all that mental volitions of the upward breath or inward breath. They are non-tangible, but they are happening. Then in the outward breath also, try to separately identify physical elements and non-physical or mental elements. You will notice each breath is a combination of physical and non-physical elements. So now you have a better wholesome view of each breath. What are the non-physical elements? You don't need to identify right now. Just being aware that there are this kind of mental activities happening is enough. Physical activity and mental activity combined is called the upward breath or inward breath, and outward breath is also same combination of physical and non-physical elements. So with that wholesome awareness, we move to the next step where there is nothing more to do, just maintaining this level of awareness until the mental and physical activities or elements become very subtle, become very smooth, effortlessly happening. You can observe that refinement to subtlety become very smooth, subtle, and it's all settling down. Allow that to happen because that is natural. Don't go against to resist it. Allow that natural refinement to take place. Okay. It may be time to stop today. Slowly, well, suggest to yourself that you are ending this meditation and you are going to slowly open the eyes. Just tell yourself, I am going to end this meditation and slowly open my eyes. Slowly open my eyes. Slowly open my eyes. With that suggestion, you can slowly allow the eyes to open. Okay, after the meditation is over, a brief comparison between your mental state just before this meditation and what you feel just now. You can compare. You can compare what kind of state change has happened within the mind. That observation is also very important. After ending the meditation, just try to observe how was the mind before and how is the mind after. Okay, so a quick recap. Again, now that we have experienced it at least once, let me summarize. When you are practicing this meditation, make the upper half of the body straight up to facilitate breathing and also to facilitate the weight transfer vertically down to the ground, so that the spinal cord will have one piece on top of the other vertically down, so that the weight transfer will happen through the backbone rather than through the muscles. Then, area of mindfulness, increase that awareness in that area. Let the mind create a mental image or nimitta representing that area. And then while maintaining the awareness of the area of mindfulness, you focus the attention to breathing in, breathing out as well. The trick here is that in between the inward breath and the outward breath, there is a small time gap, and that time gap mind should not be allowed to wander during that time gap. Therefore, during that time gap, the focus should be that area of mindfulness. So that's why the area of mindfulness awareness is achieved first, and then the breath. You may notice one at a time. Now there are three things to contemplate one at a time. Upward breath, at the end, area of mindfulness. Then downward breath, at the end, area of mindfulness again. Similar to this analogy, do not allow the mind to dwell in the past breath or future breath, exactly at the present moment. Then becoming slowly aware of the start of the breath, middle of the breath, and end of the breath, which will allow you to classify whether it is a short one or a long one. After you have maintained that awareness, short, long classification for a sufficient time, then the mind is ready to experience the wholesome breathing, which means the breath in whole consists of physical elements and mental elements. Physical elements are tangible, mental elements are intangible. So become aware that the breath is consisting of these two parts is very important. Okay. A question says, we can't hear you properly, maybe because of low bandwidth. Whether we can switch off the video, then it will be helpful to hear you clearly. Okay, we will, maybe it's a low bandwidth time. Let me switch off the video. Okay, hope it will become better. Then wholesome breathing means becoming aware of physical and non-physical parts of the breath. For example, for an inward breath, within the mind, there is a tiny decision that inward breath should start, then it should continue, then it should end. That kind of decision making, although it is not coming to the awareness level, it is happening. Usually, we are not aware that the mind is making tiny decisions like that. Those decisions are known as bodily volitions or physical volitions. And the non-tangible part consists of such volitions as well as sensations and as well as perceptions of long, short, that kind of things. And they are all non-physical or intangible or mental part of the breath. After that, allowing things to calm down all the bodily activities and related mental volitions, and you will feel that calmness at the end. Right, so those are the steps. If I summarize, towards the end, you will notice it's like the sound of the gong, that strong, rough sound at the start, slowly dying down, slowly becoming more and more refined, and becoming a very subtle sound towards its end. That should summarize the whole experience during these steps. Okay. The mental elements, later on, we can have a discussion of what are the mental elements. Can we classify them? Can we classify the mental elements that we can discuss in the future? Okay, so today, that's what the time permits for us. Since we have already done the posture meditation, actually, we have done 2 of these contemplations. Breathing, we did today once. Posture, of course, we have done once earlier, once or twice. Maybe next time we'll do it again. So next time we will move on to this physical activities onwards. Some of them like corpse decay, we will not be discussing in our course, that you can add to your meditation toolkit in the future. Okay, time to stop. Thank you very much. Next time we are going to have a small quiz through the model. So I will be uploading these study materials. So study them very well. There will be in-class small quiz which will go into the final marks, but it's multiple choice questions, few questions. So be ready. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.